Cyberpunk Red uses a system that I've never seen before in other tabletop games. And if you know any others that do progression like this, tell me, because I love this thing and would love to give them a try. Growing stronger in tabletop RPGs is one of the main reasons people do play. We all like to get stronger or better with characters because then, obviously, we can do more things. That's really it in a nutshell when it comes to progressing in a game. Get stronger, beat up stronger things, get cooler stuff. Even if you're in a narrative-based game where the story is the entire focus, you're still progressing to be able to be better than how you are when you started. The most common way to do this is the tried and true method you see in games like Dungeons & Dragons. Kill something, get the experience, hit the total experience needed, and boom, you've leveled up to get new skills or powers or spells. There's also the milestone system that can be used in 5th edition D&D where, once you hit a story point, you get that sweet level up. Now, I'm only going to use D&D 5th edition as the comparison in this video because it is the most well-known. Well, in Cyberpunk Red, you do things differently. A lot differently. In Cyberpunk Red, the system they use is what's called playstyle-based improvement. Now, what they've done is instead of focusing on the character, they focus on the type of player you are and how you play. And they do this by this chart. Yep, this chart is how the GM will figure out what your playstyle is. It looks weird, I know, but I'll explain it further. So, in Red, they describe the way people play in 4 different ways. You got warriors, who are the combat junkies and murder hobos, the socializers, who just enjoy the experience and just have fun being around their friends for the sake of it, explorers, who are people who dig deep into the GM's world and really tap into NPC relationships and find things to solve. And then, you have the role players. And this is the most prominent one at my own table. Role players obviously are those who enjoy getting into character and role-playing out the whole aspect of tabletop in general. They're the actors, and they can go pretty all out with their characters. Players of these 4 types always share shades mixed in with the others. A person who is a warrior could be big on just being social and kicking back with their buds. A role player often will cross over into socializer and explorer. You hopefully get the gist of it here. So, what a GM will need to do with a player is identify their type, basically. They throw out this little chart, sharing it here again to give you a proper peek, and they just have them choose 5 things on it and circle those. The box that has the most circled is obviously their primary playstyle, and the one with the second most circles is their secondary. So, why is this so important? Well, in Cyberpunk Red, as you play the tabletop game, you're rewarded with improvement points each session. If your group finishes your mission in the session, you're rewarded based on your group's performance. But if you did not finish the mission, you're still rewarded IP, and it goes off to you sticking to your own playstyle. The GM will always go with what gives you the most IP too. If you have done something amazing as a character, they may go with that instead of just the group payout. The GM's goal will always be to give you the most IP they can within reason. So, if you got a crew that's purely mechanics focused, powering through combat and nailing entire missions and gigs in a single sitting, you'll be getting IP hand over fist via the group table. But if you're a slower-paced crew, like my own, that take their time and really analyze things, and each individually focus on separate stuff, you'll get IP too. So this way you don't get penalized for just taking a long time to finish up a gig. You're still earning IP each session. I tried to do this as mission-based myself. It didn't work out. My players really do take their time, so we're back on the per-session rewards. And you can get quite a bit each session too. I mean, the lowest you have is going to be 10 IP, but it goes all the way up to 80 IP. And yes, I know, you've got no idea yet what's considered a lot or a little. I'll give you a quick rundown here in a sec on how the actual improvement system works. So, with Red, you're not actually leveling your character's overall level. It's a skill-based system, and you're spending those IP to raise any skill you want, or your own role ability up to the next level or rank of it. If you really want to consider something your level in Red, you can say your role ability's rank is your level. But you could also just never bump it up and still be a badass because you just focused on other skills. You have 3 different spending rates, as there technically are 3 different types of skills in Red. You've obviously got your normal skills, which go off of a rate of it costing 20 more to hit the next level of the skill. Now, keep in mind, this is not just upping a total where you keep adding in 20 more points and you get the next skill level. If your skill is rank 4 and you want to get rank 5 of it, that's going to cost you 100 full points, not just 20 more. So getting skills way up there is going to cost a lot. For difficult skills, the ones that cost 2 times the amount clearly will follow the same methods. It's just double the process. But when you get to role ability leveling, that is the absolute most pricey thing. you're dealing with the next cost going up by a ton. So, having sessions pay out tons of IP is your goal. And well, you get that just by being the best player that you can be, being you. Cyberpunk Red literally rewards you for being yourself at the table. Be the player you enjoy being, not what you're trying to force yourself to be by being like, oh crap, I'm a pacifist. I can't fight in this battle, but if I don't, I won't get experience, yada yada yada. No, just be that pacifist and try to deal with things and you'll still get IP even if you don't raise a finger. I've dug into multiple tabletop games now since getting things going for this channel, and Red's still my favorite progression, along with Blade Runner's Humanity and Promotion point system. A game where you're even rewarded just for being that bud who shows up to make sure everybody else has fun in a game? Come on, that's a no-brainer that it makes a much better environment and experience for everyone to enjoy. A final word of caution though before I wrap this up. You can only spend improvement points on skills. You cannot spend it on stats. Just wanted to make sure that's out there that that's how it's written. Some may homebrew it to make it so you can spend points on stats. But keep in mind, doing that nullifies one of the things that makes cyberware useful and balances out things. Because cyberware is the main source of getting additional stats. I always say each table is different and people play how they want to play. Just, if you're going to go this route of letting players spend IP for stats, be ready for the game to go off the rails and get really imbalanced. Have a backup plan, or throw Atom Smasher at them. Either works. Take care everyone, and I hope you find yourselves a good table.